All right, let's try a little thought experiment. What if the biggest company on the internet just vanished? So imagine this. You wake up tomorrow, it's a totally normal morning. You grab your coffee, you open up your laptop, ready to start the day. But something is just really wrong. And I'm not talking about it being slow or, down for maintenance. No, I mean gone, just completely wiped from the internet, like it was never even there. So that means your search bar? Nothing. Your inbox? A blank screen. The map on your phone? It won't even load a single street. It's just empty. Now you might think, okay, it's just a tech problem, right? But it's so much bigger. This would kick off a chain reaction that could literally change the world overnight. So, what happens next? Okay, to really get the true impact here, we have to stop thinking of Google as just, a website. It's so much more than that. It's basically the internet's invisible backbone. And that phrase, internet backbone, that's the key. It's the foundation that everything else is built on. And for a massive chunk of our digital lives, that's exactly what Google has become. I mean, this really shows you just how deep it goes, right? We're not just talking about search. We're talking about the email platform for millions of businesses, the ads that, pay the bills for countless websites, the cloud when we keep our most important stuff. Heck, it's even the operating system on billions of phones. That means the device right there in your pocket would basically break. It's all connected, just quietly in the background. Okay, so keeping all that in mind, let's actually play this out. What would those first 24 hours really look like? Well, the answer is a super fast slide from just confusion into total chaos. It would start small, with you and millions of other people all staring at our screens, seeing the same frustrating message, server not found. And what would you do? You'd probably try again, right? Maybe restart your router, thinking, the problem must be on my end. But then, after a few minutes, you'd jump on the platforms that are still working, and you'd see it. Social media would just explode. The same question from every corner of the globe. Is Google down? And that's the moment right there that all our individual confusion becomes one big collective, uh-oh. And from there, it would escalate fast, like incredibly fast. What started as confusion becomes full-on social media panic. Within an hour, work just stops. I mean, think about it. A delivery company can't use Google Maps. Your team is locked out of all your shared documents. And by the end of that first day, the economic hit becomes real. Businesses that rely on Google Ads, their traffic drops to zero. Poof. Online stores just go dark. And that's how the first day ends, not just with a tech problem, but with this huge, kind of terrifying realization dawning on everyone, just how much a single company was tangled up in the very fabric of our lives. So, okay, after that initial shock wears off, what happens then? The world wouldn't just give up, right? Of course not. It would start this mad dash, a desperate scramble to find, well, anything else. All right, let's fast forward 1 week. The reality has sunk in. Google isn't coming back. And now the great digital migration kicks off. I mean, everyone, all at the same time, is desperately looking for a replacement. You can just imagine the tidal wave of traffic that would slam into services like DuckDuckGo, Bing, and all the other email providers. We're talking millions of new users overnight, a kind of surge they would be totally, completely unprepared for. But here's the thing, switching isn't as simple as it sounds. For, decades now? Google was the default. It was the automatic, unthinking habit for finding things, for getting around, for talking to each other. And breaking a global habit like that, it's going to be messy, incredibly disruptive. This really lays out the new reality, doesn't it? The world we knew, with instant answers all in one place, that gets replaced by a bunch of scattered, walled-off pockets of information. Effortless navigation? Forget it. It's just chaos, both online and out in the real world. And for millions of small businesses, that easy discoverability they relied on, it's replaced by, basically being invisible. Okay, so after that initial scramble, what happens? Let's jump forward again, this time 1 month, and see what this new digital reality actually looks like. Now, the first thing to get is that, society wouldn't just collapse. We humans are incredibly adaptive. But the internet and our relationship to the internet, that would be changed forever, fundamentally. So this is the new normal. A whole patchwork of new tools would pop up. Businesses would start to slowly rebuild, but our core behaviors, how we do things, would be altered for good. Just think about how we trust information. Without that one big dominant search engine, you might see a scary surge in misinformation, sure, but maybe also a return to older, more trusted news sources. We probably rely a lot more on our friends, asking them for recommendations instead of just typing it into a search bar. That single central authority we all used, it's gone. So here is the real key. The biggest change wouldn't even be about the technology. It would be psychological. Losing Google isn't just about losing a service. It's about being forced to break a habit, a really deep-seated global habit that has shaped how we've all learned and lived for more than 20 years. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important part of this whole thought experiment. Because the real twist here isn't about what we lost, it's about what we see once it's gone. See, the story doesn't end in some apocalypse movie. It ends with us adapting. But in that process, we're forced to look at a pretty startling truth, that we've built our entire modern world on just a handful of invisible tech pillars. And we almost never stop to think about what would happen if one of them just cracked. Yeah, this whole thing was about Google, but the idea behind it applies to so much more. It really forces you to ask, what else are we all relying on? What other single points of failure exist in our daily lives? And what happens if they're the next thing to disappear?